Hours. Excited for it. Excited to talk to you. Excited for you to get to share what that experience was like last night at 800 919 3776, 800 919 ESPN. It is, of course, at Chris Carlin over on Twitter, that guy Carlin on Instagram, and the live stream is up and running on 98.7 ESPN's Twitter handle, on their Facebook page as well, and on my YouTube page, Carlin on ESPN. It's everywhere. That's all you need to know. Before we get into everything that transpired last night on the court in getting such a monumental win that meant so much more than just evening the series at one game apiece, can we just take a minute to appreciate what it all was? When you think about the last year and a half and what's gone on, not just with the pandemic, with our civil unrest, especially that happened in New York, with frankly, the major hits that New York City has taken, the amount of people that have moved out of New York City during the pandemic, the knocks on the city in general, the changes in it, and just how bad things have been around here for so long in terms of the basketball. It really was a celebration in so many ways. Sunday afternoon was great to have that chance to bring people back, to bring them back together, and to celebrate a team that had given you, frankly, for most of us from afar, something to truly enjoy and appreciate. And that we did all year long. Because it wasn't just about what it is every year in trying to win championships, right? This was about an organization that has been dead for a long time, shown no signs of life, finally getting people in charge who knew what they were doing, and getting a coach who knew what the city was about and understood maximizing players and understood the kind of players that he needed to have in a situation where he was not going to have as much talent as you need to win consistently in this league. So collectively, I think we all know this. If you've been working from home, if you've been out of work, if you've lost your job because of this, if you've had COVID, if you've had health problems, if you've lost members of your family to this horrible pandemic, if you've suffered any of the effects of what's transpired over the last year, last night was just a chance to forget about it all and to feel good. Now, look, I live out in Western New Jersey, and like everybody else, I've been working from home, and I do tend to use a little bit of sarcasm when I say the word working, because I understand what I do for a living is not working in a lot of ways. It's fun. It's life in the sandbox. But it's been my wife and I in the house, and we don't get to see our friends as much as we would like. We certainly haven't very much at all. And we really haven't done anything social or done anything that we used to do, just like everybody else. Just like everybody else. So the Knicks have 16,000 in the building last night, and it is just exploding at every turn. And I don't know that I can fully appreciate what that energy was like without having been there, but I can appreciate what those people were feeling. And what they were feeling was just sheer joy. And man, did they deserve it. Not just like everybody does over the last year, but if you're fans of this team, You have been through it for the last 20 years, let alone the last 8 where you hadn't made the playoffs. And even that was a blip on the radar. Let's be honest. It's been entirely too long since you got to enjoy this. And frankly, a large portion of this fan base has no idea what it was like at one point because we are an entire generation past the Knicks' last trip to the finals. An entire generation. So when you have young people getting to see it for the first time, when you have older people getting to see it again after being unable to be in a building and be within 6 feet of other people, let alone shoulder to shoulder, that was 16,000 people getting a lot of frustration out for the most part, in positive ways, some in negative ways, which we'll get into, but that's aside here. But more than that, just getting to enjoy themselves for a night out and to take in a playoff victory. A playoff victory. You saw them outside the MSG studios on the postgame show. And look, it looked like they had won a championship the way people were celebrating. And frankly, I don't blame them. You know, sometimes I get a little cynical about things, and I might look at that in normal circumstances and say, act like you've been there before. No. This was, we have a chance to enjoy every last bit of this. Because not only have we been dealing with what our entire country, what the entire world's been dealing with for the last year and a half, but we as Knicks fans have not seen this in entirely too long. Have not understood what this was about, so many of them, that this was their first one. But more than anything, not to sound too philosophical, but there hasn't been much joy around here. There really hasn't been much joy in a long time. And more than anything else, that to me rang as the greatest part of the evening. Those 16,000 fans getting to experience that joy that they had not seen in so long, and that so many in our country have been affected by such a horrible time over the last year and a half. Personally, financially, from a health standpoint, losing relatives. Last night's the first night I can honestly say we've had a special night in a really, really long time. And I just thought it was phenomenal. 800-919-3776. We have so many different aspects of the Knicks to get into over the next few hours. We will get into some baseball as well. The Mets sweeping a doubleheader today, but the bigger issue, Noah Syndergaard and whether or not he will ever pitch for the Mets again. But we'll get into why the Knicks were able to turn it on in that second half, what the turning point was, who was absolutely everything last night, why the X Factor absolutely delivered in every way, and the biggest aspect of the whole thing in that second half and what carried the day. It had nothing to do with making shots or anything like that. We'll tell you what that is when we get rolling in moments. 800-919-3776.
It's Carlin.
I am not building a shed.
On 98.7 ESPN.
Technology.
You're down, Chris.
All right.
Well,
And I was at the game last night, like I told you.
I am aware. How was it?
It was unbelievable, bro.
now I'm not.
Didn't feel real just because, like.
How old are you, Jake?
I am 27. So I tweeted out last night how it was the best Knicks game I've ever been to. And I had a bunch of people saying, you know, you're so young, but I was too young to really experience the Patrick Ewing days.
Sure.
So I did go to the semifinals against the Pacers in 2012, 2013, but they lost that game. So this was the best game that I've ever been to.
The all-new Hyundai.
And it's like kind of sad because, it's a first round game too, but as you mentioned, the Knicks haven't really given us much in the last 20 years or so.
Nope.
0%
Nope.
APR plus 1,000 bonus cash. Hurry in. Offers end soon. See your local Hyundai dealer today. Visit buyhyundai.com to find a dealer near you. Call 661-615-2112 for complete.
People on the stream, what is up? Daniel Simons, welcome back another night. Tuned in for a great show. Let's hope so, brother. Simmons, I'm sorry. Yeah, normally I would get on people like, can we, all right, let's not get nuts here. You won one game. Right? Just settle down. But they absolutely deserve to enjoy every part of that last night. Let's see here. See something.
Don't spend more than you have to on your mobile service. Spectrum Mobile could save you up to 40% versus what you're paying now. And nationwide 5G is included in every data plan. Plus, Spectrum delivers the fastest overall speeds and has the most reliable mobile service, coast to coast, with no hidden taxes, fees, or contracts. Visit SpectrumMobile.com today. 40% savings based on a comparison of single-line comparable unlimited plans amongst major national carriers as of 1/27/2021. Fastest overall speed, most reliable, based on Nielsen speed test, latest FCC report, and route metrics.
What's up, everybody? I'm John Jastrzemski, born and raised New Yorker and a longtime sports radio host. And I'm here to tell you about my new podcast, New York, New York with JJ. The first podcast on The Ringer and Spotify dedicated to you, the New York sports fan. I'll be giving you my thoughts on all the teams, plus fantastic guests, gambling picks, and thoughts from you. We'll be coming to you on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights, plus bonus episodes whenever I got to get something off my chest. Make sure you follow the show on Spotify.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur with words from another happy payroll customer.
My husband and I started a business together, and I had no idea where to start when it came to payroll. And a friend of mine recommended Patriot, and I have not looked back since. It was extremely user-friendly. I was actually able to understand it and run everything extremely well. And anytime I've had a question, they have been so quick to answer and help me. I definitely recommend it to anyone who is looking for a payroll software that is easy to use, user-friendly, and really offers everything that you need when it comes to something that's beneficial for your business.
Visit us at PatriotSoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
There are a lot of reasons to get back out there and party this summer of 2021, and what's a party without presents? Smirnoff Red, White, and Berry is giving away exactly 2021 summer dreams to help you live your best summer. Check out 2021dreams.smirnoff.com for more details to enter between now and August 20th. While shopping at your local retailer, look for Smirnoff Ice Red, White, and Berry and Smirnoff Seltzer Red, White, and Berry for all of your summer celebrations. Drink responsibly. Smirnoff Ice Premium, flavored malt beverage, the Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
At Bethpage Federal Credit Union, we know your home is your safe place. With a Bethpage home equity line of credit, your home can be your happy place too. With our great
1 minute, Chris.
Against the equity in your home to pay for renovations, consolidate debt, or fund a life event. No closing costs or application fees either. To get started, visit lovebethpage.com/HELOC. Bethpage Federal Credit Union. We care about what you care about.
No closing costs for HELOCs under $500,000. Equal housing lender. Call 800-628-7070 for additional terms and conditions.
To understand how we got here, you have to know where we
We're going to put the heart out for you on the call screen, too.
Okay.
How second chances weren't just offered to one player. How locked in wasn't just a phrase, it was our philosophy. Because easy doesn't exist here.
You know I never feel pretty good.
Everything is earned in the Mecca. Every second, minute, point, win. Every playoff game. We here.
We here. We here.
We here. And we're not done yet. Tickets now available at Knicks.com.
Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Say go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
Well, just like that, look who's back
I felt like it was time for an update for this song, but it was just awesome to see people going nuts to it last night. It really was. I was sitting at home and I couldn't have been more jealous than to not be at the game last night. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN, 800-919-3776. Rich in Babylon is going to start us off before we get to other things tonight. Rich, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Richie.
Last night, I told the screener that I wanted to talk to you because for the first time today, listening to the station, I actually heard somebody nail the fans' reaction last night. And what that was it was not all about joy also. It was just about the Knicks last night. It wasn't about what your race was. It wasn't about what side of politics you were on. It was being a Knicks fan, man. And it was the best thing I've ever been to in my life.
Wow.
Those fans were together. We were one last night, man, and it was unreal. I brought my son to his first game, and I tell you the truth, Chris, it couldn't have been a better experience for me. I lost my voice. I had to be back at work today. But, man, those fans, we were all one last night, and I can't even explain it to you. I sat in section 223. And, man, everybody in that section high-fiving. We were hugging each other, jumping up and down. I know the COVID thing was there, but, I had my shot, and I know a lot of other people did too. For one night, we got to be Knicks fans again. And I got to say, it was awesome. All those fans and myself and my son, and I'll never forget it as long as I live.
Wow. Rich, that's absolutely awesome.
Really, yeah, you nailed it, man, and you do a great job, Chris. That's all I really wanted to say. And thank you, man, for coming out with the truth about what New York is. It's about together, people. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the time, man.
Sure, Rich. Thank you for calling, and I'm glad you did. And I'm glad you had that experience with your son because as sports fans, listen, we don't know when we're going to see something special each and every time we go to a stadium. We used to talk about, well, you don't know with baseball. You could see a no-hitter at any point. You don't know with basketball. If you're going to go see certain players, you might have seen Michael Jordan score 63 against the Celtics and not know that was coming. You might see Steph Curry do something magical. Last night you went in knowing that there was a good chance that you were going to get to have one of those special nights just by winning the game, just by bonding with other people in the stands. And it's not often that it happens, at least in my experience. It hasn't been often that it happens where everybody in the stadium, everybody in the arena on a situation like that feels as one in every way. That you can do that you can jump up and down and start hugging people you don't even know. I've only been there in that situation in my life maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe, where it's been like that. And I gotta be honest, like I got a little emotional listening to him there describing it because that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. Matt in the Bronx is next, 98.7 ESPN. Matt, what's going on?
Man, it feels amazing. My cousin absolutely despises the Knicks. He was watching the game, and he called me. He was like, Matt, I wish we would have been there. Like, first, you watch a Lakers game, a Clippers game, any game, right? There's, the whole first bowl, right, of all these arenas are, 25% full. To see the stadium, everybody shoulder to shoulder, and that defense chant and the stadium going crazy when quickly hit the 3 to tie the game. You can't put that into words, right? Like I've been a Knicks fan for a long time, right? And we've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I haven't cheered this hard for the Knicks since 2013 when we had the pre-retirement squad, right? We had Prigioni, who was 35, Jason Kidd, 36, Rashid Camby, who was pushing like 37, Rashid Wallace, Marcus Camby, all these guys late 30s. and to see this young core develop, to see the Knicks blossoming as a team. Like, think about all the times. Like, the biggest win of the Knicks of the trade deadline this season was the Knicks not trading, and that's incredible yet unheard of. The fact that they said we're going to sit tight and we're going to let the team develop is incredible. I'm excited. I don't know about you. As far as like excitement goes and being able to just distinguish between being excited and crossing the line, I know it's been on the radio last night and all of today. Right, I've seen, like I'm a Yankee fan, so like the "Who's Your Daddy" chant for Pedro and people going crazy. I was there, when the Yankees in, I believe it was 2018 when we Game 3 when we tied the series up in Yankee Stadium versus the Astros. I mean, I get it. There's excitement, but I mean the whole spitting on Trae Young thing is crazy. Right, and even like when you see arenas that are packed, like I'm also a Duke fan, so when you see guys on the inbound and the whole stadium is like waving their arm at the person inbounding, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with if the refs suck chant, but we also have to keep it. We got to keep it.
Yeah,
Keep it
of course, and I'm going to get into that part of it a little bit later, but that part was tough to take, and I hate to think that it was one guy or a few different fans in the stands that have gotten after it. And thanks for the call, Matt. Unfortunately we knew we were going to see this kind of thing happen, because how could it not? With all of the pent up energy of the last year and a half, there was no question that this was going to happen. And I hate to put it this way, I hope that this is the extent of it. I hope this is it. I hope people now see this and don't feel emboldened by it, because they shouldn't. Like these guys, the guy who dumped popcorn on Russell Westbrook, the guy who spit on Trae Young, they should not just lose their season tickets and be banned from the buildings. They should be arrested for assault. And I know that sounds silly, but you need to get the point across. You need to get the point across. Because one way or another, that is the definition of assault. So they absolutely should get arrested for that. Because I don't really care about whatever your definition of it is personally. What I care about is that not happening again, and the irresponsibility of it in the moment for that to have happened. But we'll delve more into that in just a little bit. How about Derek in Staten Island? Now, Derek, sit tight for a second. Sit tight, Derek, because you want to get into that too. How about Paul in Japan? Paul, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing? How's
Good.
it going, Carlin? How are you?
Good. You're in Japan?
I just called, yes, I've been living here for 28 years.
Okay.
I used to be in the armed service in the military for the United States Marine Corps. I've been living here as a civilian, and I always go visit New York because I have family in Glen Cove, New York. I was born in New Jersey, and unfortunately, due to the pandemic situation with Japan, looks like I'll not be coming home for a while. It's still locked down. It's still not good for people. I mean, leaving from here to the States is no problem, but coming back is difficult. So
I can imagine so. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I know. I mean, but I just called quickly. I know not much time to say that I'm excited about the Knicks. It's amazing that when you put people in the right seat who has passion for the game, who knows what they're doing, is not making a difference. And that's been a long time coming for the New York Knicks. A long time coming.
As far as the head coach you're talking about?
Everything. The head coach, the people, the decisions, the general manager, I mean, everything. From everything, from Leon Rose to everybody. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how you put someone in a situation who has passion. Come on now. I mean, I've been doing my job for 25 years, and I have passion. If you have passion in what you love, you keep on doing. You do a great job. And when you do a great job, you get rewarded and you get recognized, and you see good things happen. So
let me ask you something. That game was on what time over there? 7 in the morning, something like that?
It was 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
I watched the whole game. I was screaming. I mean, unfortunately, due to the situation in Japan, I wish I was in a bar, but right now everything's on lockdown.
Right.
No liquor is being sold. Right. So it's tough. So I was at my desk I know it's supposed to be working, but I was at my desk screaming and yelling and pumping my fist and jumping up and down because I was excited. So
Well,
it's been a long time coming.
Listen, appreciate you checking in. Thanks for, and don't be a stranger and calling in by all means. Awesome to hear from you, and hopefully you do get a chance to get home real soon. But that's the thing, is it kind of is a major unifier right now, and that's fantastic to see. You know, that our first call, I think it was Rich, you know, just talking about the fact that it wasn't about anything else other than we were huge Knick fans last night, all celebrating in a unifying fashion. You know, when's the last time you had something that unified us? And not to get political or anything, I'm certainly not, but just that sentiment in and of itself, you know, being in that kind of a sports atmosphere really shows you what the power of sports is and how it can be such a tremendous, tremendous part of our lives in a very positive way. And that night, last night at the Garden, feels like it was just that. Now, in just moments, we have got more to get into, including the single biggest aspect of why the Knicks were able to come around in the second half last night. And it doesn't have to do with making shots or anything like that. We'll tell you all about it. It's Carlin, 98.7 ESPN.
It's that time.
You're down.